Little Miss Mary and the Big Monster Makeover. Written and illustrated by Gigi Taropov and Cleone Cassidy. Little Miss Mary was tired of shopping. All day on her feet, she'd been merrily hopping from boutique to salon, from one to the other, while asking for this and for that from her mother. I have to have this and I have to have that. These shoes that I bought will look nice with that hat. My open-toed sandals are just so passé. If I wear them to school, what will the girls say? I need a new skirt and a dress and a jacket for tennis, new trainers to match my new racket, new t-shirt, new blouse, a new Fendi bag, the one on display with a whopping price tag. Little Miss Mary's mommy was proud. She too always spent to the limit allowed. On the gold credit card which her husband had given, she knew her excuses would soon be forgiven. Little Miss Mary was a chip off the block. If she could shop, she would shop and right around the clock. $360 a year and 24/7. Impressive for someone who just turned 11. But hardly a coupe when all posh mommies coo into Porsche baby prams, Gucci goo. No wonder that Mary's first words to her nanny were Plada, Gabbana, Lacqua, and Amani. Moschino, Versace, where shall we go next? That's enough for today, you maxed out the Amex. Any more shopping must wait till tomorrow. There's plenty more money that Daddy can borrow. On hearing the news, Mary drew a deep sigh. But there's so much more I wanted to buy. So many shoes I kept a keen eye on. So many dresses I wanted to try on. But Mommy had already summoned assistants, who replied to her call in no more than an instant. In a blink of an eye, they were all in position, eager to please as they worked for commission. They loaded their bags in the big 4x4. They filled up the boot and they covered the floor, till there was no space left to pack. So they piled even more bags above the ski rack. And off home they drove, mother and daughter hydrating themselves with Evian water. Mom at the wheel of her new Chelsea tractor, Miss Mary behind her poised to distract her. With pertinent problems like how can one tell between bags that are bootleg and real Chanel? Or questions like, Mom, why don't we have a butler? And other big issues from Vogue and from Tatler. The traffic, amazingly, wasn't too bad. They arrived in no time at their posh Mayfair pad. A gorgeous, split-level, detached pied-à-terre where little Miss Mary lived without a care. And that's where we find her, tired from shopping, exhausted from all of that running and hopping, from salon to boutique with Mom as her caddy, buying up Bond Street and all on her daddy, who works all day long, all night long in the city, as chair of the board and as head of committees, earning big bucks so that she can look pretty. No expense spared on his sweet little kitty. Little Miss Mary made her daddy proud by jumping in queues and by pushing through crowds, by spending his money in all sorts of places, from Moscow to Paris, from Harrods to Macy's. Mary would come She would see, she would buy, from Cannes to Hong Kong, from Milan to Dubai. If there was a contest, then she would be crowned the world's greatest shopper, pound for pound. But now she was tired and lay on her bed, musing if this season's black would be red, mulling the fate of poor fabric exporters if all the designers cut skirts by 3/4. She put on her eye mask and drifted to sleep, counting sheep after sheep after sheep after sheep, but all the while thinking, how could it be better to all their wool for a Burberry sweater? Soon little Miss Mary was out like a light, but she didn't sleep long and woke up with a fright. She opened her eyes and was very surprised when a huge, hairy monster materialized. The monster yelled "Boo!" to give Mary a scare, but Mary just fixed the great beast with a stare. She looked up and down from his toes to his hair with total disdain, while the monster stood there. "Why," asked the monster, "you show me no fear." "Have you looked in the mirror? You're just so last year. Your tail isn't bad, but there is a reason for sporting those horns, which are just so last season." The monster was stunned, at a loss what to say. His prey wasn't screaming or running away. He wasn't accustomed to such a response. He was used to hysterics, not pert nonchalance. But Mary stayed poised as a lady should be. She displayed no attempt or desire to flee. She turned on the light so that he could see clearer, and showed the big monster his face in the mirror. He gawked for a while at his wretched reflection. He winced at his wrinkled and withered complexion. "My skin feels like leather. I have crusty eyes." "What did you expect when you don't moisturize?" "My nails are broken. My teeth are all yellow. My fur's in clumps," he let out with a bellow. "My horns are askew and my coat is molting." He started to sob. "I am truly revolting." "Come on now, don't cry," said little Miss Mary. "You do have a choice. You don't have to be scary. Behind the snarl and the piercing stare, you're just a big softy, a huge teddy bear." But the big scary monster was not quite as certain. Embarrassed, he wrapped himself up in a curtain and told little Mary that without a doubt he's a hideous creature and he'll never come out. Miss Mary agreed. "You are ugly for sure, but it's something you really don't have to endure. You haven't been blessed with the best genetics, but who needs another nature when you have cosmetics? For each of your problems, you'll find there's a cure, from a deep cleansing facial to a French pedicure, to numerous methods for rogue hair removal. So what do you say? Do I have your approval? Would you like to be pampered and fashioned and styled, made over by Mary?" The big monster smiled. "I can tell from that smile that it's been quite a while since you've seen a toothbrush or even used a nail file, and I sense from your stench, or at least I presume, that you're also a stranger to soap and perfume." When little Miss Mary stood pinching her nose, the big monster blushed from his head to his toes. "Don't worry," said Mary. "We'll give you a shower. We'll soak you and clean you. We'll scrub and we'll scour. We'll cleanse and we'll tone. We'll wax and we'll pluck. We'll snip and we'll peel. We'll nip and we'll tuck. If you want to look pretty, you're right on the right path. Let's start with the basics. You're having a bath." She dragged the big monster inside her ensuite, full of lotions and potions, all fragrant and sweet, full of loofahs and sponges to rub and to scrub, and rose-scented candles lit round the tub. Once the Once there the monster forgot all his troubles in bath salts and oils and white fluffy bubbles. As he relaxed, Mary started her mission, and she began by shampooing and then she conditioned. She used tinted toners, tonics, and creams. She applied elbow grease, as weird as it seems, because that, for Miss Mary, was extremely rare. After all, she was heir to a millionaire. She rolled up her sleeves and got stuck in her task. She smeared on a Dead Sea firming face mask. She lathered and foamed, she combed and untangled, till the monster emerged, spick and span and newfangled. Well, there you go. You no longer smell foul, said little Miss Mary, handing over a towel. And now for the fun part, let's start from the top. To be brutally honest, your hair is a mop. I have to be frank, I am not even sure of how to approach this kind of coiffure. Maybe a fringe or a crop or a bob, or perhaps a French plait will do just the job. Whatever we do, we will first have to swear in the future you'll take better care of your hair. How on earth did you ever expect to make friends with split ends that have their own split ends? The monster's face faded by at least several shades. Once he spotted the glint of the sharp scissor blades. Frightened, he opted to keep his eyes shut and chewed on his nails through his first haircut. Mary danced round his head like a crazed ballerina, like a mad meditator in a bullfight arena, dodging his horns while clipping his ears, which, is it had to be said, only worsened his fears. The monster's anxiety did not diminish until little Mary announced, "I am finished." He opened his eyes and was over the moon. It looked like his cut was by Vidal Sassoon. His hair was no longer the nest of a vulture. It was a modern art, like an avant-garde sculpture. Geometric yet flowing, organic yet neat, and that's just the mound that lay at his feet.